Things are happening every day in the world. Our kids were in Barcelona this summer after things happened there, or before things happened there. It's very strange to be living this way.
And we thought it was the speakers malfunctioning.
I was sitting out here on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden there was I thought fireworks, and then I saw a window come out and glass shatter everywhere, and then 2 or 3 more windows came out, and then an open machine gun fire out that direction. You could see the blinds from the window kind of shooting out.
Did you see him shoot anyone?
I didn't see a person, but they were shooting towards the concert area, and I don't know if they looked to be going higher than that, not down, but that probably was 200, 300 rounds. And interspersed in between, while maybe reloading or something, there was interior gunfire too.
And we heard what we thought were fireworks, and it looked like smoke from Mandalay Bay. And then he kept performing, and then we heard it again, and they cut the music, and everyone said drop, and everyone dropped. And then everyone just got up, and they said run, and everyone started stampeding and charging and knocking over grills, jumping over fences.
Then it seemed like automatic gunfire. We heard bam, 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 bam. So we got down and took cover and tried to get out as best we could.
It just sounded like fireworks, almost fake at the beginning. And then once everyone hit the floor, just stay down and get out as fast as we can.
We thought it was fireworks, and then it just didn't stop. And I'm like, Debbie, that's not fireworks. And then people started running, and we asked what was going on, and they said it was a shooter, and then we realized it sounded like machine guns. It sounded like more than one machine gun. It was mass chaos. You couldn't tell the difference between people that knew what was going on and people that were adding more confusion.
We were just on the rail enjoying the concert, and it sounded like fireworks. And then all of a sudden, everybody started scattering and gunfire, and people were running everywhere, and
it was chaos.
Complete chaos.
Where'd you guys go?
We got down along the rail and moved along the rail to the exit, and then we got back. I worked in the trauma tent for a little while. It was crazy. It was chaos.
We knew there was chaos and mayhem because people were running out of everywhere, and the police were really unaware of where the ground person was. They were going this way, that way. There's SWAT everywhere. We were tucked away, about 12 of us, in a little, like a car park thing, and then it was like the SWAT came. They said, hands up, this way, we're unarmed. We were ushered out this way.
You got to talk to the cops out. No, yeah, but was it chaotic, I assume, right? I mean, what did you guys see? What'd you hear?
By the end of it, we actually managed to get most people calm. We were getting people out of the fucking event.
All we're trying to do is get everybody out, though, and that's
obviously
it.
Country concert. There's a lot of people that are prior military, law enforcement, all that shit. We're just getting people out. That's all that matters, right?
What did you? Were you guys were in there? Jason Aldean was performing. Tell me what you heard and how it all started.
It just started popping. It sounded like firecrackers.
And
everybody ran.
At one point, then as soon as
you just started seeing bloody people running towards you.
People didn't start moving until Aldean got off the stage. As soon as he started running, is when everyone else started booking it.
People running for their life, and then you see bodies. People like they're not moving. Shock, gratitude, and just grief for these poor kids, their families that have lost.
Very chaotic. I mean, like I said, people were screaming, people were scared. Some witnessed because some were coming out of the concert into our hotel, so they were in shock, and they were the ones more screaming and saying, "There's a shooter! Oh my God, he killed people! He killed people!"
And then the shooting started. We actually went all down because we were like, no, on the first one we were like, oh, fireworks, what happened? Oh, something maybe happened with the stage or sound or TV. And then suddenly on his radio, we just heard, they're shooting, and we just run. Because you don't know from where the shooting come in that moment. He have a shot in his hand and one on his leg. And they actually said that the third one, he had like a steel key in the back, so that protected him from the bullet. I know. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing we know. But he's good. So that's a good thing. We're good.
We heard sort of a round go off, which we thought was firecrackers, but we were really confused because we couldn't see any of the smoke. And then it sort of stopped, and then another one happened, and that's when we saw the police or security running towards where the bullets had hit on the floor, so we started running.
I was just trying to pull him down because he was trying to look and see where it was coming from, and I'm just trying to pull him down. people started, they weren't getting down. There were people dropping. You were just seeing them drop, and then there was a security guard literally 10 feet in front of us that maybe 20 minutes before, I had her on my shoulders, and he's all, put your hands up. That same guy, you know, was hit. And we see all these people, and they said, if we need a truck, we'll all load them up. Let's go. Load as many as we could.
We just need to get people over to the hospital, okay?
Tail had to go down because we had actual tables that you would serve drinks on.
Yeah, they were using the railings in the concert to carry people out.
We were going over roadblocks. We were going over curbs. Said, help. I was like, you're going to be okay. We took them. We put them on the gurney. They went and put them in literally 30 seconds. They're all, we need him out. Get that other girl in. I'm like, what? I was like, he's just alive. They're like, he's gone. We put him down, picked up a girl, put her in, another guy that had gunshot wounds in his chest. His fingers were literally holding in from the blood coming out. And then, yeah, they're like, just put that kid down. And I was like, I can't leave him here. So we threw him in the back of the truck.
I just feel like that's what you do. If people need help, you have to take them to the hospital.
All of a sudden, hear in the background something that sounded like fireworks going off. It was going pop, 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 pop.
I'm not originally from Vegas, but I live and I work there, so being here with my family is very comforting.
And you can see just the look of shock on their faces, still shaken up about what happened. They can't believe just how close they were to death.
It was just over and over and over again. I'm still in shock, I think.
And I looked up at Mandalay Bay as we kept hearing it going off and off. And I could see the flashes coming out of the windows where the shooter was coming from. There was people at the small hospital everywhere, and there's blood everywhere.
Things are happening every day in the world. Our kids were in Barcelona this summer after things happened there, or before things happened there. It's very strange to be living this way.
It was like a ghost town, the Strip. There were no cars or anything out, and there were a lot of SWAT guys with serious weapons.
Steve Gold is returning to the area with images of horror still in his eyes.
I actually called my mom while shots were being fired. Told her I loved her, and I said, I'm going to run. I'll be okay. I jumped inside of a taco stand. I was there all weekend, and it was a 3-day event, and it had to end like that.
Rolling in from Vegas,
I can't even begin to process what just happened. I don't even know why. I just can't.
Guadalupe Ortega cried and trembled. The 24-year-old who lives and works in Denver instead came to Houston to hug Dad after her weekend trip with 4 friends to Nevada's Route 91 concert spiraled into terror.
We heard what we thought were fireworks, and so we all looked up, and I don't know. I just remember seeing people running. I got into an Uber. Nobody wanted to let us into their cars, and finally this man did, and it was me with 6 other strangers. He had blood all over his shirt. The 2 girls were pregnant. They were crying. We were all leaning there, and we finally just bent it down, and he took us out there, and some kind stranger literally just like paid for a hotel room so that we would be safe for the night. But we all literally like slept in the closet. Like I just can't.
Single shots, like pop, pop. Tony Kessler of Brentwood was in the middle of the chaos and barrage of gunfire.
People are screaming, I've been shot. People are being drug out. My girlfriends ended up in a vehicle that took them to the airport, and they were running past. She said she ran past a girl laying on the ground in a pile of her blood, all by herself.
You ready to get home?
Mm-hmm. It was just chaos. People literally shot around me, being drug out of the concert. We all got separated. My friends went one way, I went the other. We were climbing fences. People, shoes, purses laying on the ground, people bloody. It was awful.
Like many survivors, Blake Catterman says the first shots sounded like firecrackers.
The next thing I know, girl standing foot to my left, shot in the head, went down, she's gone. It was tough. We ran over a lot of dead bodies, honestly. I guess she got hit with a ricochet in my back from one of the bullets, and I got a pretty good bruise back there and everything like that. But
coming home from Outback, moments after we got into the hotel, all you hear is the shooting.
I looked behind me and a woman was shot in her neck, and the blood was just coming out all over the place, and
she collapsed on the ground, and then there was another woman next to her that her leg was shot.
There were a lot of people that we passed that, I mean, obviously we're trained. We knew they weren't alive, so you kind of have to help those that you can, and those that you can't help, you got to keep going.
I could not believe it. I had no idea what was going on. I was asking him, what's going on? And he was telling me that it's gunfire and that I just needed to stay down and I needed to listen to him. And I was just immediately scared. I thought I was going to die.
So in between reloads, we took off and hid underneath the VIP section. And still at that point, just the noise sounded like there was somebody on foot inside the venue, not shooting down from 32 floors up.
Pop, 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 pop. And everybody's like, are there firecrackers or fireworks? But there was no flashes, but it might have been echoing off the building. The big round went off, was bap, 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 and then that's when people started falling and going down. We didn't know where the shots were coming from. You know, we didn't know which way they were coming from. So then it paused, and then it went off again, and then we could see, because I could peek up, and I wanted to see if the shooter was in the building or not, because we didn't know. Probably like 10 minutes or so, they ended up, the shooting stopped.
Like somebody set off a whole bunch of fireworks, and it just kept going and going and going and going.
The hail of bullets, enough to get John Huffman's attention. He showed me just how close he was to the Mandalay Bay Hotel.
Just a lot of sirens, helicopters, a lot of people streaming over there to see what was going on.
Todd Blylevin got out of the arena, then went right back in.
I told my brother-in-law to take care of my wife, and I gotta go. Literally taking bodies and put them in wheelbarrows. I had to carry a young girl out, and she was probably about 18 and lifeless.
Austin Mitchell planned to, but dinner reservations changed that. He says he and his friends were walking near the concert when gunfire interrupted the fun.
Just heard all the ruckus and all the people panicking, and it's frightening. It was really scary.
I talked to one Vista woman who hadn't really processed yet that she's a survivor of the deadliest mass shooting in this country's history. Sylvia Brooks called her daughter from a stranger's closet where she had hidden for hours.
I was just like, I have to tell you I love you because I may never see you again. Because that's how I felt.
We heard a couple of pops that were super isolated and sounded like firecrackers. And we found out later over the police scanner and from some firefighters that we were working with later on in the night that there were some firecrackers that started it all.
I'm in the military, kind of used to those kind of rounds going off and the sound. Once we figured it out, it's called I'm up, you see me down. I mean, I'm an Army firefighter, so I don't go out, I don't go shoot rifles. I'm qualified and all that, but knowing the sound, being around it, training, you got instincts. I'm also a firefighter.
But a group of 3 friends from the northwest suburbs witnessed the chaos and dodged the bullets firsthand.
They were right next to me. We held on to each other, we jumped fences. I jumped a fence. The whole area is gated off, so we had to people were ripping things down, pushing the fence, jumping around. Survival mode. We weren't going to wait around and figure it out.
The streets were flooded, people were panicking, people hiding out. It was pretty bad. We just didn't stop running.
We interviewed by phone Foot's friend Vito Busano this morning. He was too distraught to speak later on camera.
There was, a lady there that was shot and stuff, so everyone was just kind of freaking out. We just kept running.
It was very chaotic. We got to the airport. They told us they were locking down the airport. We couldn't leave. They made planes come back and get off the plane.
We just kept running farther and farther away from the festival. I just remember seeing a girl laying on the ground. It was like she'd been shot in the stomach, blood. Can't get that image out of my mind.
Katie says a couple let her and 30 other people hide inside their nearby condo for a few hours until police gave the all clear.
We got up and we couldn't get on our bus to go, so we all decided to walk where we can get to a main street. And you just see blood everywhere. You see people steal like shoes, and everything is just all over the place. And
including fellow mother Ray Kelly.
You're just terrified. It's just terrifying to know that he's there.
Her 10-year-old son was in Vegas with his father.
I'm happy I made it through.
I'm just so grateful that I just missed it, but there's also so much pain of thinking like, why wasn't it me, and what did those people do to deserve it?
Things are happening every day in the world. Our kids were in Barcelona this summer after things happened there, or before things happened there. it's very strange to be living this way.